Hi, I'm Ashley Trung. This is Group 2's informative speech on sea urchins and their effects on kelp forests. So first we're going to talk about kelp forests, what they are, where they're found, their importance. Then we're going to talk about sea urchins and how they're relevant to this topic and how they've become a problem. And then we're going to talk about ways to prevent this problem or solutions in general. And then lastly, we're going to talk about why it's important to bring this topic to the public or try to bring as much awareness as possible. And did you know that golden kelp forests and sea otters are native to California? And a major kelp forest is right in Monterey Bay. So you can go scuba diving to go see it, or you can go up to one of the piers and you can see the tendrils floating on the top of the water. And did you know that the water that they use in the aquarium for all of their big tanks is pumped directly from the ocean? So that means anything that's going outside in the environment also affects the organisms and animals within the aquarium. So they can use the aquarium as a way to study these changes and how they affect the different organisms. I just think that's pretty neat. So let's learn more about these California kelp forests.
Hello, I'm Tabu. Today I will talk about kelp forest. So, what are the kelp forests? The kelp forest can be seen along much of the west coast of North America. Kelp is large, brown algae that live in excellent, relatively shallow waters too close to the shore. They grow in dense groupings, much like a forest on land. These underwater towers of kelp provide food and shelter for thousands of fish, invertebrates, and marine mammal species. Where they found, these dense canopies of algae generally occur in cold, nutrient-rich waters. Because of their dependency upon light for photosynthesis, kelp forests form in shallow open waters and are rarely find deeper than 49 to 131 feet. Why are they important? Kelp forests are vital because they harbor a greater variety and higher diversity of plants and animals than almost any other ocean community. Many organisms use their thick place as a safe shelter for their young from predators or roof storms. Among the many mammals are birds that use kelp forests for protection or feeding are seals, sea lions, whales, sea otters, gulls, terns, snowy egrets, great blue herons, cormorants, and shorebirds. However, kelp forests are still threatened by multiple sources, such as human activity or sea urchins, are one of their most significant and most prevalent threats. We should get more knowledge to kelp forests need to be protected and supported.
Hi, my name is Jake Ojehu, and I'll be talking about sea urchins, what they are, where they're found, the problems that they bring to the ocean, and the history behind it. Sea urchins are animals that are typically spiky, small, round, and have a purple hue to them. As you can see in the picture, they look small, spiky, and yeah, they're purple. They live in all the Earth's oceans at depths ranging from the tideline, which is the brim, the top of the ocean, down to 15,000 feet, which is super dark, and many animals could not live there. They cannot swim, they live on the seafloor, they're very sluggish. That's the reason that they can't swim, and their main defense against more agile predators, due to the fact that they can't swim, they have to have a very strong defense to protect them from eels and otters. Is a hard, spiny, sharp shell. They have five calcium carbonate teeth that grind and scrape that help them to grind and scrape algae, plankton, and kelp, which is very important for the ecosystems. The sea urchins play one of the most important part of the ecosystems because they are grazers that help keep algae in check and are a favorite food source for many of the ocean species. Them providing food for many of the ocean species is what helps the ecosystem flourish and makes the ecosystem a lot better. Sea urchins can also be destructive to kelp forests and can, instead of helping the ecosystem, can help to destroy it. The reason being is in recent decades, more and more kelp forests have been raised by the hungry urchins. In these places, urchin barrens have replaced one lush and diverse ecosystem. Back to the reference of the picture, we see kind of an example of this, how there's so many sea urchins and they're all gathered around, and this is the picture is an example of a sea urchin barren. So yeah, they replaced one lush and diverse ecosystem. So, for reference, May Rennick, a PH for Discover magazine, on August 23rd, 2022, which is very recent, said at its worst, it's urchins as far as the eye can see. So, she's describing an event that happened, and she says that they're literally stacked on top of each other, vying for space. The reason for this is because in healthy kelp forests, urchins feed mainly on detritus, or scraps of kelp that shed naturally from the dried algae. However, when detritus is scarce, urchins begin to feed on living kelp. There are long-standing theories as to why this event has recently started spiraling out of control, but no one knows exactly. Moving on, next, Kimberly will be discussing another topic about ways to prevent the population growing.
Hello everyone, my name is Kimberly Rees, and I'll be discussing ways to prevent population growing through protecting predators and competitive species. Due to human activity, we are now facing the backlash we created. It is our duty to fix our mistakes. These solutions can help decrease the population of sea urchins. The first solution is protecting endangered sea otters from fur trade and other forms of poaching by tagging or putting on tracking collars to keep an eye on family groups. Sea otters are the natural predator for sea urchins. However, their population is decreasing due to human activity. Many people do not realize, but sea otters are the hidden victims of the fur trade, and they are poached for their fur because people use it for decorations and for clothing. The next solution is protecting and promoting abalone populations. Abalone is a marine snail, and abalones are now considered endangered due to human activity. We literally kill everything. You're not allowed to hunt them for any reason without a permit. The reason why they're hunted is because they were considered a delicacy. However, abalone is important because they allow kelp forests to grow, and they actually feed off the kelp. However, they allow new different species of kelp to grow once they finish off the old stem or the old part of the kelp. The last solution is hunting and eating more sea urchins for their eggs, also called uni. It is a great option, and this option is one for the general public can do. And if we do not start trying to solve the problem, it would only get worse. And everyone needs to participate in solving this issue because it will affect us all. And that is my clip.
Now, why is it important to the general public, or why should we share this information? So, if nothing is done to prevent the sea urchin population growth, we'll lose a major ecosystem on par with coral reefs with their productivity. And that means that basically there are a lot of species living in this ecosystem, even though it's such a small area, because kelp forests are pretty much only found on the coast of North America. And kelp forests are a huge contribution to the coastal city economy, with money made by tourism and fishing. And so activities like kayaking, scuba diving, fishing on decks and things like that, renting fishing gear, all of those things bring in money for the economy. And if kelp forests no longer existed, then those forms of money wouldn't exist anymore. And many species of fish and invertebrates that are important to the fishing and culinary world rely on kelp forests for shelter. And many of those cold water species living in kelp forests aren't found anywhere else in the world. So animals such as leafy sea dragons, kelp fish, kelp crabs, several forms of hermit crabs, and sea otters aren't found anywhere else except in kelp forests. And if we lose kelp forests, many animals will become endangered or functionally extinct. And being functionally extinct means that they aren't found in the natural world anymore, or there's too little of them to bring back the population, and the rest of the population is living in captivity and they cannot be released. Another thing that would happen would be a large form of the income for coastal cities will cease to exist, or they'll just dwindle away. So it will take time and dedication to set things on the right path. The limitations on fishing certain species, such as sardines, will be a hindrance to fishermen trying to make an income. So, like we said before, abalones are considered endangered, and you are not allowed to hunt or fish them without a permit. And so those kinds of restrictions will raise the cost of the product when it's being sold. So in the market, it may be raised a couple more dollars or things, something like that. And that might make many people upset, or like small time cooks, home cooks, rented cooks. When they go to buy these ingredients, sometimes they want higher end ingredients, but it's just too expensive. So that's just something that we need to be aware of, especially because there isn't really a true solution to environmental problems, because people have different opinions or just don't see the severity of the problem. And within environmental science, we're looking for the best compromise. So we're just trying to make everybody happy, everyone on the scientist side, or everyone, just the general public, wanting their, I don't know, abalone porridge. And so bringing awareness to the situation will just help make finding the best compromise easier. And for my source, I actually have this book. It is Oceana, Our Endangered Oceans and What We Can Do to Save Them, by Ted Darrison and Michael D. Orso. And it's just a book full of different fishing regulations and different ecosystems and what you can do to help the problem and things like that. So, yeah, so this is why kelp forests are so important to our California Bay.